In this video, we are going to discuss about configuring router interfaces. So, the basic thing before going into the router configuration, you should know that configuring the interfaces of a router is one of the best and the basic thing you should know before going into the router module here. So, unless the router is connected to the network, it does not do any work in the network. So, configuring the interfaces is easy and usually consists of only two steps here. So, but proceeding here, you need to understand how many interfaces are available on the router. So, also you can see that some of these interfaces are built into the devices and some are into the modules which are added to the available slots on the router here. So, depending on the router interfaces and the number given to them, we will be configuring them. So, we see the example here that Ethernet 0, this is the first inbuilt in the Ethernet technology, and fast Ethernet 0 by 0, this is the first inbuilt in the fast Ethernet interface. The same way serial 1 by 1, serial 0 by 2 by 5. So, these are the series of Ethernets or the interfaces available on the router here. So, knowing the current interface numbering is very important because you can't configure the interface available on the serial interface here. You see here clearly that you need to know which interface to configure before proceeding to give access to the router to access the network here. So, consider a situation where Ethernet cable is plugged into and you have second module while you have first module, but you have requirement of configuring first interface on the first module, but you have configured second interface in the second module. So, not to get into that conflict, you see there is a help available for us here, that if you go into configuration mode and type interface question mark, it will give all the interfaces available on the router. You see here async is async interface, BVI is bridge group virtual interface, like so we have many interfaces available on the router. So, the help easily shows you there are different kinds of interfaces available on the router, and you see here interface fast Ethernet. If you want to configure fast Ethernet interface, you type here interface fast Ethernet question mark, it will give how many fast Ethernets are available on the router. So, in the above output you can see that there is only a single slot number which is 0 available to configure the interface, and in the same way configure in the configuration mode interface fast Ethernet 0, if you give a number then it will show you how many 0 ports are available or how many fast Ethernet interfaces are available. So, the same way you see here interface fast Ethernet 0 by 0 question mark, then it will give you interface which is available, which is 0 by 0 is available or not here. In the same way the final output shows you that there are various parameters available before configuring the interfaces here. Those are IP address, speed, duplex, and in case of serial interfaces protocol also are considered here. So, about the protocols, about the IP addresses, duplex or half duplex or full duplex, as well as speed is also considered before configuring the interface of the router. So, if you see how to configure the interface IP address, the interface IP address, you come into the interface mode, configuration mode. After getting into the configuration mode, you get into the interface configuration mode, then you assign IP address IP 192.168.1.1 with the wildcard mask as 255.255.255.0. So, by default all interfaces are in administratively down model, so that every interface is in shutdown, so that we have to type a command no shutdown, so that they come into active and they connect to the network. So, here after configuring the interfaces are the sources for connection into the network of the router, so that the router can perform its duty by connecting the devices. So, by this interfaces we have to connect to the network and the router will perform its duties of connecting or sharing the packets or the data among the network here.